It worked. That's good. You do good with that little remote control. Half the time I can't make it work, so I don't know what you're doing. You do a better job than I do. All right. So what's shaking, Ainsley? How you doing? Okay. You gonna talk like you normally talk?
Yeah.
Okay. You're in your Christmas pajamas, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting ready for Christmas. Except it's, September. But we already started picking out some things that we're going to ask Santa for, right? What are we going to ask?
Soggy doggy.
Soggy doggy, that's right.
Soggy doggy.
Yes, which I finally watched a YouTube video on what soggy doggy is because I keep missing the commercials and, yeah.
Soggy doggy. Get back.
Hopefully Santa brings it to you because, good Lord, help us all. So, we had a good weekend, right? Did you have a good weekend? Yes?
Soggy dog.
Okay, you're sleepy. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to read you one of my favorite books from when I was a little kid. This is one of mine. Now, this is actually from, I think, my little kid book collection. My mom Bubby kept for me. Anyway, it's called Stone Soup. And it's an old tale, which is actually what I call Daddy Ben's rear end. Just an old tale.
I can't see anything on it.
Well, yeah, because somehow the dust jacket, or what do they call it? The dust ruffle? The dust cover? The ruffled jacket? I don't know. I don't know a lot about books. The thing that goes over it, the piece of paper is gone. I don't know where it went. It's somewhere around. We keep them if they come off, but anyway. There's pictures. Don't worry about it. Yeah, so this is Stone Soup. And it was written by Marcia Brown. Marcia Brown. All right. What accent am I doing? Boston, British, or Southern? Boston, okay. All right. 3 soldiers trudged down the road in a strange country. They were on their way home from the wars. Besides being tired, they were hungry. In fact, they had eaten nothing for 2 days. How I would like a good dinner tonight, said the first. And a bed to sleep in, said the second. Ah, but all that's impossible, said the third. We must march on. And on they marched. Suddenly ahead of them they saw the lights of a village. Maybe we'll find a bite to eat there, said the first. And a loft to sleep in, said the second. No harm in asking, said the third. Now the peasants of that place feared strangers. When they heard that 3 soldiers were coming down the road, they talked amongst themselves. Here come 3 soldiers. Soldiers are always hungry, but we have little enough food for ourselves. And they hurried to hide their food. They pushed sacks of barley under the hay in the lofts. They lowered buckets of milk down the wells. They spread old quilts over the carrot bins. They hid their cabbages and potatoes under the bed. And they hung their meats in the cellar. They hid all they had to eat. And then they waited. The first soldier stopped at the house of Paul and Francoise. Good evening to you, they said. Could you spare a bit of food for 3 hungry soldiers? Oh, we have no food for ourselves for 3 days, said Paul. Francoise made a sad face. It has been a poor harvest. The 3 soldiers.
Francoise?
I think Francoise is the lady, and Paul's the dude, the man with the beret. The 3 soldiers went on to the house of Albert and Louise. Could you spare a bit of food and have you some corner where we could sleep for the night? Oh, no, said Albert. We gave all we could spare to our soldiers who came before you, and our beds are full, said Louise. At Vincent and Marie's, the answer was the same. It's been a poor harvest, and all the grain must be kept for seed. So it went all through the village. Not a peasant had any food to give. They all had good reasons. One family had used the grain for feed. Another had an old sick father to care for. And all had too many mouths to fill. Then skip the page. The villagers stood in the street and they sighed. They looked as hungry as they could. The 3 soldiers talked together. Keep skipping pages, got it? Oh, the first soldier called out, "Good people." The peasants drew near. We are 3 hungry soldiers in a strange land. We have asked you for food, and you have no food. Well, then, we'll have to make stone soup. The peasants stared. Stone soup? That would be something to know about. First, we'll need a large iron pot, said the soldiers. Peasants brought the largest pot they could find. How else to cook enough? Oh, that's none too large, said the soldiers, but it will do. And now, water to fill it, and a fire to heat it. He took many buckets of water to fill the pot. The fire was built on the village square, and the pot was set to boil. And now, if you please, 3 round, smooth stones. Those were easy enough to find. The peasants' eyes grew round as they watched the soldiers drop the stones into the pot. Annie's soup, what's up? Yeah, pump, pump, pop. Annie's soup needs salt and pepper, said the soldiers as they began to stir. Children ran to fetch salt and pepper. Stones like these generally make good soup, but oh, if there were carrots, it would be much better. Why, I think I have a carrot or two, said Francoise as she ran off. She came back with her apron full of carrots from the bin beneath the red cloak. A good stone soup should have cabbage, said the soldiers as they sliced the carrots into the pot. Oh, but no use in asking for what you don't have. I think I could find a cabbage somewhere, said Marie as she hurried home. Back she came with 3 cabbages from the cupboard under the bed. If we only had a bit of beef and a few potatoes, this soup would be good enough for a rich man's table. The peasants thought that over. They remembered their potatoes and sides of beef hanging in the cellar. They ran to fetch him. A rich man's soup, and all for a few stones. It seemed like magic. Ah, sighed the soldiers as they stirred in the beef and potatoes. If we only had a little barley and a cup of milk, this soup would be fit for the king himself. Indeed, he asked for just such a soup when last he dined with us. The peasants looked at each other. The soldiers had entertained the king? Well, but no use in asking for what you don't have, the soldiers sighed. Peasants brought their barley from the lofts. They brought their milk from the wells. The soldiers stirred the barley and milk into the steaming broth while the peasants stared. At last the soup was ready. All of you shall taste, the soldiers said, but first a table must be set. Great tables were placed in the square, and all around were lighted torches. Such a soup, and how good it smelled, truly fit for a king. But then the peasants asked themselves, would not such a soup require bread, and a roast, and cider? Soon a banquet was spread, and everyone sat down to eat. Never had there been such a feast. Never had the peasants tasted such soup. Falling asleep there, young one? We're almost done. And fancy, made from stones. They ate and drank and ate and drank, and after that they danced. They danced and sang far into the night. At last they were tired. Then the 3 soldiers asked, is there not a loft that we could sleep in? Oh, let 3 such wise and splendid gentlemen sleep in a loft? Oh, no, no. They must have the best beds in the village. So the first soldier slept in the priest's house, and the second soldier slept in the baker's house, and the third soldier slept in the mayor's house. Did you just pick your nose and rub it on me? Did you just put your boogers on my shirt? Yeah, you did, you little booger. In the morning, the whole village gathered in the square to give him a send-off. Many thanks for what you have taught us, the peasants said to the soldiers. We shall never grow hungry, now that we know how to make soup from stones. Oh, well, it's all in the knowing how, said the soldiers, and off they went down the road. The end. That's a good book, right? It's a good book about soldiers coming in and pillaging. Yeah. Oh, I guess we're going to bed. So, night-night, everybody.